I was winning this game wholeheartedly with a character that I am garbage at, and I was playing well. My
Oh,
team
excuse me.
decided to throw it away.
All right. Well, we've been streaming, so
Okay.
yes, we're back to that. Also,
You trickster.
not doing a full length episode this week.
Okay.
In lieu, we will play Rocket League because I really don't want to spend an hour talking about this or about soccer for that matter. Just because I'm a little sad. Like right after I went for comfort food, I had comfort food yesterday, and Sunday. Yeah, I've been eating a lot. Sad eating, not stress eating, but sad eating. Also, today
I
was
feel you.
a crazy day at work. So there was that. Like there was that pipeline explosion in Fallon.
Oh yeah.
A poor student got killed near Worcester High. She got hit by a car and the car booked it. So we're all trying to find that. And then there was another thing that happened. Oh, just a small vegetation fire, but everything like that, everything fucking piles up, and it's just
Oh yeah,
all
that fire
crazy.
today at the airport. What happened?
Oh no, I don't know about that. So that happened after my shift.
Got it.
I was talking
I
about just
thought
the.
you were the news guy.
I am when I'm there, Brad.
Uh,
If you do not unplug, you will die. You have to. Like I worry about stuff during my shift, and then I move on with my life until my
so,
shift begins.
are we
again.
live? Are we
Yeah.
live?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
been.
Yes, sir.
Gosh.
Okay, then I will ask my question.
Eh?
Do you want
I
to
had a
ask your
question
question
of-
after
I had
I
a
start the
que-
podcast, or what?
No, it's kind of a what should be said and not be said about a certain thing. So.
Yeah, we're not talking about it.
No.
Easy
Well, no,
peasy.
no. It's about players and
Players?
players and like, do they think they're gonna stay or not?
Let's put a fork in that one for this week.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we can't talk about it now. It's just that it's a little soon.
Let's not do rumors.
We got all off
Off-season.
season. God damn it! Ugh. All right, let's get this started. What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 51 of 1868 Weekly. I am your host, John Macaluso. Today, joined by Matt Rafferty. I'm going to do you guys both at once, and Brad Polonsky. How are you guys doing today?
Hi, I'm good.
I'm not.
All right. Well, since we have one person who's good, one person that's bad, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with the good Brad. So we're gonna go to Matt. As you can see, guys, Matt has a beautiful background, probably chosen to lift our spirits. And this now, a lot of people would have one guess as to where this is, but we actually have a few small land or small lakes around us, which have very scenic, beautiful views. So, Brad, where is Matt today? And
I
you guys
feel like
should know
I'm gonna
he is
go with
live on location right now.
Obviously.
Clearly, it looks so warm over there. I'm going to go with the lame duck answer and say that is Tahoe. If it's not, then I'm glad that our state is this beautiful in this part of the state. not
All
that
right.
other
So
spot down south.
here's the funny part about that. I am going with a different lake just because I can, and it's not in Nevada. I'm going Donner. Donner is my
that's,
shot.
That's
I was
way
like,
too
good
wide.
guess.
Donner.
Those mountains aren't quite towering enough over it in like the big bowl of Donner.
It's
Brad,
worth a
you
shot.
got it.
Come
You
on,
nailed
it's
it.
an easy
Lame
lame duck
Brad.
answer.
Brad's
This is
lame for
basi-
guessing the correct
Do
answer.
do I get a point? Do I get a point? Is this a separate,
no.
different
Well, I mean,
entity in which
honestly-
I am currently winning?
Well, we could do that during the off season. Whoever gets Brad or Matt's picture.
Matt's
But what we
location.
should do then, in that case, if only we thought of this before this episode, what we will do is from now on we will make our guesses of what Matt's picture is, and then ask everyone who watches. And then the following week, Matt will let us know, and that's that. And the
a
person gets a
Nevada
point.
quiz.
It's still a pick'em game, if you will. It's just a lot more. Actually, this one's easier, probably.
Yeah, but if you want to get specific, it's pretty much right before you get to the California border, and looking over
North
at
Lake?
North like Crystal Bay, that area,
Mm.
and it's just looking right out on the Nevada side, the more beautiful side. So I figured this would be a good choice.
Cool. Yeah, and it does most certainly does brighten the mood a little bit. One of the more beautiful areas around our area. Also, you've got the Tifo as your graphic for the evening. Battleborn Reno 1868 FC, Nevada's team. And despite the awful result on Saturday, Reno 1868 FC is still Nevada's team.
3 years running.
3 years running, and hopefully 3 years more. All right, Brad, what's wrong with you today, man? We're gonna have to get there eventually, and I'm gonna have you take us there because I'm sad about it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I had to go back to work on Monday.
Oh, that's why you're
Weekends aren't
sad?
long enough. No,
Okay,
you
I was
know
gonna
why I'm
say.
sad. I just had to
Yeah,
like
yeah, I know.
justify it with it didn't get any better on Monday. Actually, Sunday wasn't that bad. The Chargers won. My fantasy football teams won in both
The
my
Chargers
leagues.
won because a team outcharged
Hey,
them.
victories count even if somebody outcharged the
Yeah, dude,
Chargers.
take that W. Just
Yeah,
take it.
yeah, you're
Don't
probably
ask questions.
right.
You know?
And it was against a pretty solid team, so I guess I'm not
Yeah,
so butthurt.
a pretty solid defense.
Pretty solid defense, and Rivers played well, so I'll take that. But
I don't
I mean,
think
he
so.
won the game for us.
Yeah.
So
All right.
all right.
No,
Yeah.
the reason
Anyway,
why
about
I'm
stuff.
sad is obvious. Reno lost. It was to a rival. The weekend was kind of ruined by that experience. I don't like seeing other people happy, especially other people that I feel like that we had the better half of during the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say playoffs are a different beast. Everything up until the playoffs started was going really well for Reno. 3-win streak. I think all 3 were shutouts, right? So yeah, I mean everything goes well. We're matched up against a team that we've never lost to in USL play, and it didn't work out. And that's honestly what happens. There's nothing more to say than that. I mean, did either of you guys have highlights to show? Good.
I was like, I could quickly bring up.
No, that's fine.
No, nobody
We've-
wants to. I haven't watched it again for a reason.
So-
Once was enough in live
Okay.
action.
We do have interviews. Not, I mean, look, Ian always gives good interviews. I really appreciate him being able to come out in front of cameras and talk to us, despite a really tough loss like that. And Matt Bersano, great guy, and I really appreciate him being able to do that. There were some players that I really wanted to talk to that weren't ready to talk about it, and I hope they're doing better now. I know it's a rough moment. It's a rough moment for us fans. I know the Battleborn Brigade and you two are very disappointed, and Douglas Alley's disappointed. Just, I'm disappointed. It's a really crappy result, but the players gotta feel worse. and that's why it's easy. It's really easy to harp on the players. It's easy to harp on the gaps in the middle, but keep in mind that there are some players. I saw it on the field at the end of the game. There are some players who were taking it harder than the fans. So
Corey was crying on the bench.
yeah,
I felt so bad for him. He, at Smoothies in the morning, he was probably more excited for this game than we were as fans. He felt like, Reno had a solid lineup. It was returning lineup, the exact same lineup from the previous week, minus the bench being different. He was just as excited for this game as we were, and it just sucks when it doesn't go, the way of the players. He was
Right.
invested as much as we were.
Yep. Yeah. It happens. It's hard to talk about because it's just, it's like, how much more do I say to feel bad about the fact we lost? But it happens. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Well, just not the performance that I feel like everybody was like anybody was expecting, especially like you had mentioned the decent streak that they had going into it as far as wins and shutouts. Sack had to play on Wednesday. I kind of figured they would have a little more tired legs, especially having to come up to altitude. but I mean, what can we say? They were outplayed. It wasn't one of those, maybe if you had a couple chances, they had their chances and they could have tied it up and they could have kept it close and,
Yeah.
changed the course of the game,
Right.
changed the momentum. But Sac was there to win it. They really were. And, this was an uncharacteristic game for our boys, especially considering the last, quarter of the season. I feel like this was similar to how they were playing when they were in that slump about a month and a
Mid-season.
half ago.
Yeah, a little bit later in the mid-season. So, I got a question for you, Matt, and it's a question that none of us are going to want to hear. I'm here to ask questions sometimes we don't want to ask. And that question is, was this really uncharacteristic of Reno? Home playoff match. Clearly better than the team that's coming into town. And then it just doesn't turn out that way.
Yeah, that is a fair point, and I know I've seen a lot of people talk about our postseason record, but I can't put too much credence into it. Is you're like, that's so Reno of them when it's a sample size of 2.
Sure. Yeah, sure. That's
So
a good point.
It is concerning. The only win came from the only win in our playoff history. It came from a very, very late goal off of a wild clear up the field into a flick that resulted in putting RSL away at RSL.
Right.
Again, you were saying nothing's happened at home,
Right.
so. Yeah, our postseason, our not regular season record is not great, and then including Open Cup.
And
So-
the match that we won was in the worst seeding in Reno 1868 FC history, 5th place. So,
Yep.
The scary statistic
Here
from
goes.
this weekend is at halftime, 1-1 draw, the team has the kind of, I don't want to say audacity, but social media said it's the highest scoring playoff game in
I mean,
Reno
it was.
1868 history. Yeah,
in,
but, like,
in their
You're
defense.
gonna post that? What do you expect's gonna happen? Like, just throw that bad juju elsewhere. Save it for after the game.
I think
Ugh.
let's talk about some positives here. I'm a positive guy. I'm a forward thinker. I think Reno looked really good in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, I think potentially in the first half they looked like a team that were going to win this match.
I would use the word competitive, not good. Our goal came off of a mistake from their defender passing back to their keeper.
Yeah, but it was but the opportunity was only there because Corey went for it.
Yeah,
So
that's why
I
I
mean,
said competitive. But I wouldn't say other than that we really.
I'd say good. Look, it took a really good play from Sacramento to score. Like, words that Reno 1868 FC fans are not going to want to hear me say about Sacramento. That first goal was brilliant. It was good. It was beautiful.
Can't lie about that. Yeah.
So
that,
and
was nice.
and it took something like that. Yeah.
I can't.
It took something like that to score on Reno in the first half. And I think, great work by Sacramento. And we're strictly talking first half. Great work on that equalizer from Sacramento. But yeah, I mean, I think Reno played pretty well. What happened is I think we'll hear this from Matt, and I don't know if we'll hear it from Ian or vice versa. But there was kind of a moment in the second half. I think the first 5 minutes or so were solid. And then there was a moment where all of a sudden the middle of the field just opened up for Sacramento. And I was talking to Isaac, who works with the team, on the sideline, and there was opportunity after opportunity after opportunity coming from Sacramento. And I'm like, expletive, they're going to score. They are going to score. And then if this keeps happening, they're going to score again. And they did exactly that. And unfortunately, it happened right after I said that, so it felt like a jinx. I actually told Isaac I'm never talking to him during a match again. I'm like, look, this match was going fine before you came up, so we're never talking in the middle of a match again. We can talk before, we can talk after. Anyway, all jokes aside, that was a bummer. But I know you guys were kind of on the opposite side of the field. Matt, you're busy, beating those drums and trying to keep the crowd, the Battleborn Brigade, into it. And especially the fact that you guys were competing with a very loud and solid TBB over just on the
Over yonder.
over yonder. They
Yeah.
weren't that far away from you guys.
Nah.
In fact, you could hear both of you guys on the broadcast. And so, yeah, I mean, so Matt, I don't know if you saw the momentum change. Brad, you're a little bit lower down because you're like right on the field
Yeah.
almost. So I don't know if you saw the momentum switch.
I mean,
But it was like that. It was like boom, opportunity, boom, opportunity, boom, opportunity.
I didn't see the moment of the switch, but I did see the buildup. At that time, I feel like we were still kind of riding off the high of our goal. A little bit of smoke was still dissipating before, by the time that change actually happened. So by the time, I'm letting the crowd go and do their thing and I can, focus on the game.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the weird part about this is that it didn't switch because of a goal. It just switched. They scored. Sacramento scored their goal, but Reno was still game for the rest of the first half. It was I want to say about 10 minutes into the second half when things
20.
just really. You think it was 20?
well, the goal came at.
Oh
the
no,
second-
I'm talking
Oh.
like you could feel
the
it.
momentum.
Yeah, 10 minutes after, so around the 50th minute
Yeah.
or 55th minute. It starts with opportunities, missed chances, because you have enough missed chances. Like, look, you punch 10 times, one punch is going to land, and so that's punches and bunches. That's the, that's the mentality that I like. If you're gonna take 100 shots, you're gonna make one of them at least, right? And that's what Sacramento was doing, and then eventually they got one, and then eventually they got two on top of the one they already scored. But just a really tough loss. Matt's going to talk about it a little bit. I can't actually pick out one player to blame for the whole thing. Kind of just a whole team kind of thing, I think. I feel like Corey's always pushing the pace on the offensive side of the field. Maybe we should have had different players in. Because you saw, especially offensively, because you saw when Seth and Will Seymour came in, they were pushing a lot more offensively. I mean, of course they were because we were 2 goals behind. But maybe that should have happened when we were 1 goal behind. I don't know. I still don't feel comfortable with the San Jose guys. I would have much rather had Will Seymour and Seth Kasimpli. Personally, I would have liked some Sam Gleadle action, but I don't know. Is there any kind of substitution you guys feel would have changed the result in this match?
Honestly, I feel like swap the substitutions completely, the actual players themselves. If you started the 3 that subbed in at the initial point of the game, I feel like there would have been more control in the midfield.
So you're talking Danny was the first sub, and then
Seth was the first sub.
Oh, so Seth was the
Seth,
first sub, and then
Danny,
Danny was the second, and then Will was the third. Okay,
Yeah, no. I'm saying if those 3 started
right.
instead of who they
Right.
subbed in for, I feel like that would have been slightly different. Yeah, like Ian probably didn't want to mess with what was working, what worked against Tulsa and Vegas.
Right.
Like the Partita, Calvillo, and Apodaca all did very well against those 2 sides, and so maybe reward them, try to keep them hot, but they apparently weren't hot, or there were some other cogs that weren't working out too well.
Sure.
Galindo and Janjigian have been a good pairing lately. They're working really well, but they seemed a little haphazard on Saturday. They didn't know where each other were. They didn't know who was covering who, and it resulted in them being on their heels a lot. I saw them like turn and 180 towards the goal way too many times that I'm comfortable with.
Brad, what are your thoughts?
I mean, personally, as soon as I started giving my praises to players like Benny, Galindo, he kind of goes back to what we were looking at. I remember looking at you at halftime and being like, man, that soccer style diving save that Benjamin did during the first half. He kind of takes out a player by just going like, a hockey player, like goes out
Right.
as
Yeah,
if
you
he's trying to
flatten
block a
out.
puck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
turn your body into it.
you
Right.
know. I guess sometimes when you're not doing so well, you return back to some ways that don't work. And he did that this game. I think he was the weak link this game. Our midfield, it brings up questions that we've asked a million times, so I'm not even going to bring them back up. I feel like you know exactly what questions I'm thinking of, and it has to do with the center of the midfield or the of the defensive line. I'm just going to be, repeating myself.
Right.
But at some point this year, our defense looked bad. It stabilized, but I think we kind of put a lot of stock into the last 3 games of the match between non-playoff team, non-playoff team, non-playoff team.
Yeah. I think there are players who play defense that would have been great on the pitch. And we've been talking about them all year. And I'm talking Clementa, and I'm talking Zach Carroll.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up.
So it's all good. I mean, that's so Brad was asking earlier before the episode. We're not going to talk about it today, but he was asking about whether or not we can talk about player movement. And I think Zach's going to be a big part of that conversation. But of course, we'll talk about that in the future. For now, guys, crack open YouTube. Let's go ahead and play these interviews for you. And of course, when I say crack open YouTube, hopefully you guys already have it cracked open since you're watching. But we're going to go ahead and now turn the screen over to Coach Ian Russell and the goalkeeper who's played in all playoff matches for Reno 1868 FC, and that is Matt Bersano, who, despite the rough result, I thought he had a pretty solid game. So let's go ahead and go to Ian. And pardon the camera movement here. We were in a bit of a hurry, so I had to adjust on the fly, but it's only for the first few seconds. Here we are.
A tale of kind of two halves. I thought first half we had the run in the play, we had good chances. Should have had some goals in that first half. Second half we didn't play very well, to be honest. That pretty simple. We stopped connecting passes. Wasn't enough ball movement off the ball, and got punished for a big mistake, and then couldn't find the next goal, and they got a third one. I think the first 10 minutes of the second half, I didn't think we were alert and energetic enough. Wasn't enough movement off the ball. And then, like I said, we made a mistake. They capitalized, and after it was 2-1, they kind of then sat back, and they countered on us and got a third goal. So credit to them. I thought they played a good game, especially in the second half. It's always tough, but that's the playoffs. You got to win when it counts. Playoffs, the season's long, and a lot of teams don't make the playoffs. So we're proud of that, but to beat them pretty handedly twice during the season, that one stings a bit. I think the MLS has now changed the 1-game format. As a coach, you kind of like 2 games to kind of see where you stand after that first game and what you need to adjust. But that's where we are, and you got to be ready to play in that first game. There was a couple deflections that I think the ball was going on goal. Maybe a handball in there somewhere. You go up 2-0. It's a different story at halftime. Well, they did get the goal, so if you go up 2-1, you're leading. But like I said, you got to play 90 minutes, and I thought we played, maybe a good 55 minutes or so. And 90 minutes in the playoffs is what you need. I think the fans have been great all year. Really good support here in Reno. I thought tonight was electric. They were loud. We want them to come back next year and support us. We try our best to play a really good brand of soccer. We try to attack. We score a lot of goals. Defend hard. We work hard. I think fans from here, Reno area, respect people that work hard, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah, it's super disappointing, of course, because I feel like we had such a solid group, and after 3 years, a good core of 3 years together for a lot of these guys, I feel like we had definitely more to play for sure, and it's a bummer to go out the way we did. I think we had a great game plan, and we had everyone committed to get it done, and sometimes it just doesn't work. And I think we hit a point during that second half where we were kind of running out of ideas, and no one's individual fault. It's a team. We win and we lose as a team. There's no individual person here or there that made this better or worse. And I think that we had a group that fought for each other, and we just didn't get it done when we needed to get it done. And it's not a fair representation of our 35 games played this season. We were fantastic in the first half. I thought we were moving the ball around really well. We were getting guys into good spots, and we were getting good opportunities. And then the second half, something flipped, and we were just sadly a different team. And like I said, it just happens sometimes, and you kind of want to be on the other end of it most of the time, right? So this one just wasn't in our favor, and for that one, I think everyone's very disappointed, because it's not that we had more to give tonight, but we felt like this season we owed more to the season for sure. Oh, it's been incredible. 3 years of I found so much joy playing here. I found one thing that I thought was amazing from the 3 years was the love that we had in the Phoenix games away and the Los Angeles games away, and we had people traveling 2 states away just to watch us get road results, and we were able to get wins in a lot of those games. And I can't say thank you enough to the people here that made me feel so comfortable and feel so welcome to this city, because I know it's tough, especially for guys like myself who were going back and forth. When you're kind of this nomadic lifestyle, to come here was a treat, and I can't say thank you enough.
All right, so I tried ending those interviews on both of them on a positive note, talking about you guys, the fans. Guys, Matt and Brad, any thoughts on what you just heard from either of these two?
Well, yeah, I really appreciate the shout out that Matt gave us. Like, honestly, it makes me feel really good, because he is the nicest guy. Like, anybody who has talked to him knows that he is just super genuine, super sweet guy. And so hearing him, like, being really appreciative of all the work that we do for him and the team and the coaching staff, and the work we do with the front office to make sure that we're the best that we can be. Like, I really it's very heartfelt.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I'm glad that I think I got these really, really good sound bites from Ian and Matt talking about the fans. And for those of you that are going to miss this week's show or whatever, I'm going to definitely cut those 2 parts out and post them to social media so that you guys can hear them, because I think it's very important to hear the coach of the team and a fan favorite player and one of our goalkeepers talk about the importance of you guys, the fans. Brad, any thoughts on the interviews? I think.
Frozen?
Oh man, I was really hoping it was going to show Brad's face in the little thumbnail, because it's hilarious.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we lost Brad there for a sec, but that's fine. Anything else, Matt, in the interviews that kind of? Yeah, sorry, I got to throw more pressure on you, but I know that I don't know how well you can hear these interviews while on YouTube and streaming on YouTube at the same time. But what are some of your thoughts on what either of them said?
Yeah, I know the team really wants to come out to win. The players individually really care, and they try their hardest, and especially Ian. He's there are a couple of players that have been here all 3 years, but Ian has been involved for much longer than that. I think he was brought in, like, I want to say like a year, like half a year into like when the team was officially announced. So he's been here for a solid like 4 years or so. I think he really cares about the fans, and he wants to do well for us. And so he seemed genuinely disappointed. And this is from a dude who is usually very stoic and doesn't really wear his emotions on his sleeve. So, I mean, like, you can tell that this was hard for him.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that makes me want to work even harder for him.
Sure. Yeah. A tough loss like this, it's hard for anybody. and everybody. This is not how. Look. So my plan on Saturday, Matt. We lost Brad. Just a heads up for everyone. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back. So it's just Matt and I right now. But Matt, I wasn't going to get interviews on Saturday. So the plan was, and this was part of the reason why we're recording on Tuesday instead of Mondays, or Monday this week. There's supposed to be a media day this morning if Reno won. And so I was gonna I was actually, yeah, you can give me all the crap you want for this, but I was already planning not to do interviews that night on Saturday. So I was like, all right, Kevin, if we do post-match interviews, I'm only going to do them if the team loses. And so, he's like, okay. And I was like, otherwise we'll do it on Tuesday morning for media day or whatever. And so unfortunately the team didn't come out on top on Saturday. And so we ended up doing interviews. So I was not ready. It caught me off guard, I guess,
Yeah.
After the second goal, after the third goal, rather, I was pretty convinced that I was going to end up doing interviews, especially as it got to the 80th minute.
You're like, all right, my night just got longer.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, and interviews take a while. Because, the players got to go in the locker room and Ian gives them a speech and then they, freshen up a little bit because nobody wants to go in front of the camera ugly. And yeah, and that's that. So a really rough night for Saturday. But let's try to move on to different things, Matt. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about regarding this match?
Regarding this match, no, there's not really too much I'd like to bring up. It is another early out on the playoffs, and once again, it's on to next year, and I still believe in this organization, and I still believe that they can bring home silverware. So I'm always going to be here, and I'm always going to be optimistic about our opportunities.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Look, I've been a Chargers fan for my entire life. I'm not going anywhere. if I could survive, if I could survive being a Chargers fan, I could survive being a fan of any team ever. So I love the Chargers, I really do, but not as much as I love Reno 1868 FC. Not as much as I love you guys. So on Twitter, I posted that this is officially the end of my third year covering the team, and let me clarify a little bit. The very first year I covered the team for Sportscast Weekly, which was a little bit less coverage than I'm doing now. What ended up happening was I'd watch the matches on YouTube. Yeah, that was the thing for all you new fans who watch on ESPN+. And I did not actually go onto the field and, hey, we got Brad back.
I'm back.
What is this you're wearing?
Hey, he lives.
Hold
Go
on.
Chargers.
We're going to come back to Brad. Check out that Joey Bosa jersey.
Yep.
Stand up, Brad. There we are. Look at that. Color Rush. 99?
Yeah.
The old number? It's all good.
Yeah.
It
My
doesn't,
brother found it at a Ross in LA for $40, and this is the $150
$40. Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, who's gonna
Why is
complain?
that LA Galaxy colored?
What?
I thought Chargers were light blue.
Yeah, the Color
powder
Rush.
blue. Yeah, those are
Yeah,
Color
powder
Rush
blue
jerseys.
and Color Rush is a special
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, so it's
yeah,
a
the-
nod to the Galaxy. Okay, I gotcha. Because you know how they share a
sure.
home.
You mean how they share a home with us now is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, they allow you to play there.
We bring in more money on that field now.
Even if they're all visiting fans.
No.
Anyways, what
All
did I
visiting
miss?
fans. You missed us talking about the Chargers, which I thought was kind of funny because
I
you
know,
show up wearing the
like my
Chargers
internet
jersey.
came back. The first thing to come back was YouTube, and then I heard the words, "I've been a Chargers fan all my life," and I'm like, you know what? While I'm waiting for Hangouts to come out, I'll just throw on my Chargers.
It makes
jersey.
the context was, if I could be a Chargers fan, I can be a fan of any team. So yeah.
Got it.
So anyway, Brad, we kind of moved on, but we're gonna jump back because I want to get your final thoughts on the match.
Oh yeah, when I had disconnected, thank you, roommate Stog. I know, seriously, the little guy just like hit over the whole stand where all the internet supplies are. Apparently, chasing a ball is a
Oh my God,
native.
Brad!
Yeah, I know.
Talk about the match. I
Um,
don't care about that.
But
All right.
ball.
But ball. All right. So yeah, Matt Bersano said, it's a team fault game. I'm gonna put it squarely on the shoes of a couple players. Sure, our offense never got going, minus the mistake goal that we had, but you can't win a game if your defense allows more goals than you can score. And we allowed 3 goals, which is a lot. Sacramento, I'll give them credit where credit's due. They played a really good game, and now they're on the road to El Paso because El Paso beat Fresno.
Fresno.
That's a different story for a different day. What's happening to Fresno? But
What a different day.
today.
Oh, Brad, final thoughts. Let's go.
Oh, just Sacramento played better.
Okay.
That's it. I hate saying it. I don't want to talk about this game anymore. I'm moved
That's
past
why
it. I put
I'm
on a
trying to
Chargers
move
jersey.
on here.
So then just accept me talking
All right,
about
all
anything
right.
else and
So,
move on.
3 years of covering Reno 1868 FC. First year, kind of more of, it was definitely a podcast like this one, except a little bit more about everything. And we had a segment where we talked about Reno 1868 FC. So from day one to the playoff loss against OKC Energy. And then year 2 was when I had the local lowdown. That's when I was covering last year, of course. It's when I was covering 1868 FC and the Reno Aces. And good God, that was tiring. And things worked out there. I ended up rebranding to 1868 Weekly, like halfway through the season. Did, 4 or 5 episodes? And then these two fine gentlemen joined.
That was like a year ago next
Isn't
week.
that
I think,
crazy?
is when we joined.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? So yeah, you guys joined, I think, right when when the season ended. But
Yep.
I think
The week, yeah.
yeah. So so you guys have officially been doing it for a year. That's pretty good.
Hey.
Yeah, that's.
I
pretty
feel
awesome.
like when that date actually rolls by, or maybe if it already has, maybe next episode we should get together and do an episode in the pub with some beers like we did the first time.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's a fun idea. I've got I might have to invest in a few. No, you know what? We did it with what I got now. We could probably do that. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Mellow Fellow or something, or I'll call ahead, see if I can get us a spot in the corner or something. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Brad, congratulations on a year, buddy.
Yay.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Matt on a year.
Hey,
Congrats to both
golf
of you.
clap, golf clap.
And, of course, congrats to all of you fans. Now, you're probably thinking, why is this guy congratulating me when my team just lost? And I'm congratulating you guys because we would not be here today were it not for you guys listening. So thank you guys so much for listening and joining us on this, we're going to say 3-year journey because it has been, Don't forget to congratulate Brad and Matt on their 1 year. That's really awesome. This is not, contrary to what you guys think, this is not easy to do, especially when I'm like, hey guys, I'm not going to be there today. Have fun. And these two have to handle my duties. So, and I
Handle duties.
Thank you. I was about to say, and I got an excuse to say duty. So yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you both. I appreciate all of you guys listening. And before I do kind of want to get out of here, I know you guys are probably thinking it's a little bit early. We definitely have plenty of soccer we could be talking about, but I kind of want to take it a little bit easy this week. Kind of a rough weekend, a really busy day in the news world today. And, yeah, so we're actually going to jump into random thoughts. Early, Brad.
Ooh.
Early.
Yeah.
And, Brad, since you disconnected, Matt's going to go first.
I thought you were going to put him on the spot because of
yeah,
it. All right, I got it. So I know I already texted you guys about it, but
Yeah.
on Sunday we were me and Angela were just hanging out. We were kind of bummed, but it's like, all right, we have an open day and let's have some fun. So we got the much talked about and much lauded Untitled Goose Game, which is an absolute blast. Imagine a stealth spy game, a la Metal Gear Solid, where the
Is this the one on
idea
the
is
Switch?
yeah, where the idea is stealth, but you're a goose and you're just stealing stuff from people and messing with everything. And it is an absolute blast. The style is minimalistic and adorable, and just a little bit of a piano music accompaniment. So the whole thing is just incredibly charming. and it's only $20, and it's completely worth it.
Yeah.
I recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I gotta admit to you, Matt. I hovered over it last night on the eShop, and I'm like, oh, should I buy it? It's only $20, so it's not like a huge investment, but that's probably going to be in my near future because you really did. I've heard so many good things about it, and
And it's hilarious.
And I
like
think
you're gonna be laughing the whole time you're
exactly.
playing.
So I just Brad, we're gonna go to my random thought if you don't mind because it's a good segue.
Not at all.
So I just finished a little unknown game called South Park: The Fractured Butthole. It
Yes.
was excellent.
Hold on, what class did you choose?
What's that?
What class did you choose?
So as you get further, you get more classes, right? So the first class I chose was Speedster, or I'm sorry, Brutalist. Brutalist was the first one I chose. Speedster was the second. The third was Assassin, and then the fourth, I can't remember what the fourth. Technically, you actually unlock all classes near the end. But those are the ones I rolled with because I like being able to dish out a lot of damage, but also like work the mid, a little bit. Anyway, the game is a blast. Like Matt was just talking about hilarious. The game is hilarious. Obviously, it's written by the guys that made South Park. So I would recommend not checking it out. Yeah, curveball coming your guys' way because I think the Stick of Truth was much better. So excellent. Get the Stick of Truth. Plus, it's in a fantasy setting. It's awesome. And
probably cheaper now.
Some very I bought the Fractured Butthole for $15. So I'm like, you can get them both on pretty good like sales. Hey, there's no. I'm not talking about weird body parts. Those are all different words.
Oh, I know. It's just
but
hole. The hole.
WHOLE. Also, that does play into the story. So it's not just a random like phrase they use to be funny. Anyway, the Stick of Truth is much funnier, and I love the battle system because it's turn-based, and turn-based is where it's at. Fractured Butthole is still turn-based, but it uses a weird grid. So anyway, that'll be my random thought. On top of that, I'm probably going to get Random Goose Game because I'm trying to take a break from serious video games. Which is why South Park was perfect because it plays like a serious game, but it's not. So, and now I might just hunt people down and terrorize communities as a goose. All right,
yes,
Brad,
get goosey.
what is your random thought?
All right, well, I'll stick along the same side of video games
Sure.
after my quick. If you guys do know someone who is down in the Vallejo area dealing with the fires or the LA area dealing with the fires, make sure they're safe. That's a crazy thing that's going on, and like a good neighbor, we are there for you. As a state of Nevada, I know some of the hotels are offering like a deal for people who are caught with the PG&E power shutoffs.
I got you,
and,
Brad. I got you. The Row
yeah.
and GSR.
Mm-hmm. So tell people to come up and visit. Reno's great. We have power. We also don't have fires, fortunately, right now. With my video game recommendations, a couple weeks ago, this amazing part 6 of a series came out, Jackbox Party Pack 6.
Yeah.
My friends and I, every week, we try to have a board game night over at my house, and Jackbox has been one of the games that we've always gone to. And Jackbox Party Pack 6 has by far the most games that we feel like we're going to revisit. Some of them are quirky, some of them are bad. But for the most part, there's like 5 games for the most part. 4 of them are stuff that we would replay again. With the best one out of those being an alien game where it's kind of like find the hidden aliens. Here's how you find them. And once when you think you find them, you push the button. That's the name of the game. And it's absolutely a blast, kind of just arguing back and forth. No, this person's the alien. And then, yeah, Jackbox Party Pack. I've enjoyed the series wholeheartedly, and I am terrible at selling you stuff. But buy it anyways.
No, it sounds rad.
Murder Mystery Party is still the best.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to like cut you guys off.
Oh, no.
All right, so serious
No.
talk time. My dudes, my friends, my family members who may or may not watch this, whoever you are out there, please be careful when you're driving. there were like 30 million accidents today. One
Oh my
including
gosh.
one including a fatality near Worcester High School, and yes, it was of a student. So of course that was a hit and run. So most importantly, don't be a douchebag, and if you hurt somebody in any way, shape, or form, stop and help them. Look, this guy's gonna get caught. I mean, he did it right in front of a camera. So just look, my motto in life, guys. Brad, Matt, you may have heard this before. My motto in life is don't be a dick. And that guy was a huge dick for hitting that girl and booking it. So never hit and run. Never wrong way drive. That's another weird issue that Reno has. And then just be careful when you're driving. I'm tired of reporting on accidents. Like, just be careful when you're driving. All right, that's my PSA for the day, guys.
I got to back you up on that. I was on the roads this morning. I drive as part of my work now too, and I drive throughout Reno. And I saw an accident almost happen. Spaghetti Bowl after the first big accident this morning. I saw a guy cut off a truck, and the truck almost went into the wall on 80 eastbound. And then after that, I saw an actual accident occur between two motor vehicles.
Yeah.
Like, get off your phones and watch where in the world you are flipping going.
Yeah.
Most of my job is driving. You would not believe the amount of insane, unsafe, and just stupid stuff I see out there. Focus on driving. Leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really all I wanted to say. So that is your 1868 weekly PSA of the week. And Matt, I got the camera on you. So where can people find you?
All right. You can find me mostly on Reddit on r/USL Pro or on Twitter. My screen name on both is Raf Out Loud with underscores between each word.
And Brad.
You can find me mostly on Twitter at Pal on the Sky.
All right, and you guys can find me. Just type in John Macaluso. You'll find me wherever you look. Also, check out 1868 Weekly on Twitter. And for the love of God, if you're watching this show right now, you got to hit that subscribe button. That way you guys know when we're on and when we're off, especially now that we're in the off season when we can, really record any day of the week. So that way you guys can keep up with us and know when we're going to be live. And also that's pretty good reason to follow our Twitter as well. Let's get the heck out of here. It's been a long week, guys, but we still have faith. Who is the one that we trust, Brad?
All right, thank you guys for everything you do. John kind of covered that. In Ian we trust. And
Vamos
Azules!
Bolt up too.
Thanks for tuning in all season, guys.
We'll catch
Bye,
you all
everybody.
next week. See ya.